Hello everyone. Today's gone a bit better. Managed to have a shower, so I'm feeling nice and refreshed. I had some lunch, a little bit of meat, mostly vegetables and spring onions, lettuce. And I don't know, maybe something else I cannot recall right now. Chocolate twice, yeah. So I ended up eating chocolate again. Now this is about the legendary, famous Mars bar. Now, given that it's still in production, that alone says that there are fans or there are people not aware of other chocolates. But chocolates are in supermarkets alone and in corner shops and so on, are placed beside one another. So I'm quite sure people are aware of other choices. So that leads me to conclude that some people willingly choose to eat Mars bars, and it's good to eat different, types, shake things up. But for me, it's not a preference. I've never really liked Mars bar. It's always been a bit. Some would use the term sickly, bit heavy, a bit. It's effort. It's so obvious. It's so not quite intense. I'm not sure if intense is the right word as such. But sort of in that direction. It's so sugary. So it's just so obvious. It's not in a good way. It is so. It's just something that's not never really appealed to me. Now, if it was half the size, I'm not even sure if that would, alleviate. That would help in some way. It's just a Mars bar is Mars bar. Some people like them. I know some people say the recipe's changed over the years, but for me, I've never been a Mars bar fan. I've never, if anything, it may have got slightly nicer, even if that's just from getting used to it. So for me, it's not a recipe change. Mars bar's always been a bit, I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know, sort of like Milky Way, although less marshmallowy, sort of. But Milky Way, I never really used to like Milky Way because it's so sweet, I guess. But Milky Way's okay now and again, and it's obviously also considerably smaller, but it's also easier to eat. It's so much softer. So the softer texture of Milky Way I prefer. Mars bar is too tough, so. It's got a nice amount. It's got chocolate that it's clear about that it's a chocolate bar. It does well with the chocolates, but the chocolates does not save it. It's so sort of bland even. I'm not a fan of Mars bar. Are you a fan of Mars bar? I've never really been a fan. Sometimes I can stomach a small one. In a is it Celebration? I'm getting my tins mixed up. Is it Celebrations or Quality Street? I think it's Celebrations, isn't it? Quality Streets are the coloured sweets that are randomly coloured without names written on them. So it's Celebrations. But even then, you just taste sugar and nothing else. I tried one today as a sort of experiment, but there was one Mars bar I tell you I like. Even then, it was still quite sweet. But there was a double Mars bar, as in double chocolate. Presumably it was limited edition, I think, but that was much better. That had something redeeming about it. That could redeem itself. The double choc. So the double choc Mars bar was okay. But standard Mars bar, no, I'm not interested at all. Just for me, I'd prefer something. It can be big or it can be smaller, just a different flavour. I would prefer a double decker to a Mars bar, harder to eat maybe, or about the same. But we could cut it in half. The flavour, there's a bit more going on with the double decker, whereas Mars bar is just so. I just do not get it. A homemade version, I'm sure, would be very nice. It's not that I'm against the recipe as such, but just how they end up making it. It just does not work. Maybe I could try making a homemade version sometime, but it's not for me. It does not work. I'd much prefer Galaxy, Bourneville, Toblerone, even all sorts, Magic Stars, Milky Bar. If we were to give a simplistic rating out of 5, would we say 1 or 2? 1.5 out of 5. That's about accurate, I think. So that's that. That's today's chocolate watch. This is becoming its own series quite quickly, which shows how much chocolate I used to eat. I took a break for a while, as I think I said in another video, but it may not have been uploaded yet. I cannot recall. I uploaded 2 or so videos yesterday, but yeah, I was saying I took a break for health reasons and stuff, just to see if there's any ingredients in chocolate that will helping that's grow exasperating issues, and it's hard to tell because so many chocolate bars have different recipes. But it's just but so I dipping back into chocolate a bit more, and as my emotional and psychological self, as I start to get out of depression a bit more and stuff, so I'm trying to gets back in touch with things you enjoy and stuff, but yeah, Mars bar it's not helping. Maybe it helps some people, but not me. So yeah, Mars bar it's just too much effort to eat. It's like I don't know, maybe you don't like mushrooms, some people don't, and if I placed a plate of mushrooms underneath your nose, you'll think, no, I'm sorry, I just did, there's just nothing about it. And whereas I love mushrooms, I like mushrooms. Mushrooms are juicy, and they add so much to a dish, even if they seem so innocent and unassuming, but so you may not like mushrooms. For me, if you brought the Mars bar, I just look at it, I think, well, okay, I'll try to enjoy it. No, I can't. It's just it just sits there doing nothing at all. So that's today's chocolate watch, the legendary Mars bar, but not a legend in Barry's book. What chocolates do you think Vegeta likes? Do you think Vegeta eats chocolate? I bet Goku does. Goku eats chocolate, I know. I've never seen him, but I just know that he does. And I bet Future Trunks does as well.